Hi, everyone. Liz Miller again. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to share with you a little bit about an adventure that I got to go on just recently. I was invited by the team at Zoho to be part of an event where they took a group of us crazy analysts and unleashed us on their headquarters just outside of Chennai, as well as introducing us to where Shridhar Vembu calls home and his headquarters in the south of India for an event that was called Truly Zoho. And as someone who's covered Zoho for a couple of years now, it's always been really hard to describe Zoho, because when you start to describe them and you start to talk about the culture and you start to talk about some of the things that Zoho does and the schools and the universities and the kids it starts to sound confusing. In fact, a lot of times I tend to think of Zoho as this enigma, right? It's a company that was really originally founded in the US, but it's really an Indian company that is proud of those roots and really soaks in that culture. It is a massive product, tool, platform portfolio that gets super hyper-focused on the individual user that's oftentimes building a small business. It is this massive organization, but talking to people, it still feels like a family business. It's an enigma. It's really hard to pin down sometimes. So when I got the opportunity to actually see this enigma up close and personal in India, I could not say no. We spent about a week with time on campus, getting to see not only a new massive campus that is purpose-built for collaboration, being built from the ground up. But we also got to see the people. You got to meet product folks who we might never get to meet at an event or through a small Zoom meeting. We got to really talk to folks in hallways. We had unfettered access. I mean, we could literally stop and talk to absolutely anyone. And y'all know me by now. I did. But here are a couple of things that kind of I walk away from the Truly Zoho experience knowing. Zoho is really about decisions. And I don't mean decisions of like, yes, we're going to release this product, or hey, let's update the calendar. Let's talk about AI. Not those decisions. I mean the big decisions. And they're about making those decisions in ways that a lot of organizations could never comprehend. Let me give you an example. Chief Evangelist, the ever-patient Raju, which is going to be his new name, because I think I asked him about every piece of flora and fauna across our journey through India. And he answered every single one of them. Made a statement to us to kick off the entire Truly Zoho event. And he said this. He said that Zoho made a decision to sacrifice growth. If you said that to any other organization or in front of any other group of analysts, I think you probably would have seen people falling off their chairs. But he said it. Zoho has decided we were going to sacrifice growth because we needed to make a commitment that we weren't going to lay people off. They put people over everything else. Now, we can all say, well, they can do that because they're a privately held company and they don't have to answer to shareholders. And the answer that Zoho would give you is, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly why we don't take money from the outside. That's exactly why we're a privately held company. Because we can make those decisions. We can make the decisions to put people before growth, people before really anything else. And it's because they're able to do that they're also able to kind of focus in on another big aha moment for me, which is this is a company all about experimentation. And I don't mean that kind of experimentation where you try something and then you get fired for it, or you try something and you get in trouble for it. I mean, this is a culture that encourages and rewards experimentation, even when those experiments fail. These are people who are able to sit back and say, gosh, our customers seem to really be missing something, or they kind of seem to always be talking to us about this thing that's happening. And it might not be even part of the solution or the product set or the part of the business that team talks to. But you know what? Someone on that team gets to say, you know what? Maybe we should do something else in a finance system. And they can go take a team and they can go experiment and they can try and they can go build a whole new tool. This is just not the norm for a lot of organizations, but it is the norm at Zoho. And you can see that from every student that's part of Zoho University. You can see that in every single employee, see that in every single person that works within the Zoho ecosystem. That experimentation is expected, but failure isn't always expected. Failure is okay. Success isn't always expected. But that also brings me to the probably, one of the other interesting things that I saw, and it was a sense of pride. And you don't see that all the time when you're walking through a company's headquarters. That sense of pride of just really being proud of oneself, being empowered so much that that individual knows that they can stand up and contribute. They can ask a question. They can ask really hard questions to their bosses, right? It is a culture where pride is being empowered. And you could see that from a small rural school that's being started, where you've got 4-year-olds who were so proud to count that you knew that that was going to change the trajectory of that child's life. To the people and the individuals enrolling in Zoho University who are just so proud to showcase what they have learned and what they have developed. It is completely a sense of pride, but it's also reflected in all of the leaders. I mean, I had tweeted that Shridhar Vembu, their CEO, was just emitting like proud dad vibes. And it was totally true, because every single time one of the young students from Zoho University stood up to explain what they had created and why, the thought process behind it, the experimentation behind it, that was what brought Shridhar Vembu so much pride. Not when he was talking about how well the company was doing or what was happening quarter over quarter or being able to build a new headquarters. It was about talking about the next generation of thinkers, the next generation of doers, of workers, of people, of kids willing to go and build an electric tuk-tuk at school. That is what drives everyone in that leadership group. And it's plainly obvious. But I'm going to tell you one thing. There is one thing that stands out most in my entire Truly Zoho experience, and that is the opportunity to have met one person. There's a lot of times on calls you'll hear about, she's often mentioned a couple different ways. Most of the time people should use her name because her name is Radha Vembu. But sometimes people get called Shridhar's sister. But you hear about her. I knew that she was behind a lot of the products, especially the core products of things like mail and calendar, and really that core function that sits at the heart of Zoho and has really been very well known, probably one of the most well-known solutions and products out in the market for Zoho. But I'd never met her. I'd never even actually seen her, to be honest with you. But there she sat in a panel talking about what Zoho means for her, and what the innovations and the products and the roadmap of technology looks like for her. And talk about someone who does not really want to be in the limelight. This is not someone who is seeking out that spotlight as an innovator, but there she sat, a real life innovator. And the thing that most impressed me about not just her, but her posture and position at Zoho is that a lot of time gets focused, and rightfully so, on the big dreams that come from Shridhar Vembu. And I myself I admit that I am certainly a Shridhar fan. But for every big dream that gets to take off from the earth, there always needs to be an anchor. And it was plainly obvious to me, sitting there, watching the dynamic, not just of all the product teams, but also a family at the core of a business. It is plainly obvious that Radha Vembu is that anchor that holds down the reality of Zoho. And I was truly fortunate to have met her and gotten to know her a little bit. So my week was India was, I think for a lot of us, it was eye-opening, it was magical, it was truly Zoho, it was all those things. But what I think I appreciate and enjoyed the most was really getting to just be part of the culture, to sit and just watch how happy people are to be there. Because if there is a fundamental truth that all of us in this wild and wacky world of customer experience knows, it's that customer experiences should be happy. And you don't get to deliver those happy moments if you don't have happy people. And the spirit of innovation, that drive for experimentation, and that pride that everyone feels, that is what's truly Zoho.